Start, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk for a second about time. It's the one thing that no matter how rich or powerful you are, you can't buy back. Once it's gone forever. You can get more money. You can get another job, another house, another chance to go somewhere. But time. You don't get a do-over on that. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have. It's constantly moving forward, whether we're ready for it or not. And the unique thing about time is that it's irreplaceable. Unlike money, possessions, or even relationships, once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. You can't bargain for it, you can't work overtime to earn more of it, and no matter how hard you try, you can't get it back. Every second that slips away is a second lost, and there's no reversing that. It's like water flowing through your fingers. No matter how tightly you grasp, it escapes you. Most people recognize that time is precious, but they don't always treat it that way. They waste hours scrolling through their phones, mindlessly watching television or engaging in activities that don't add any real value to their lives. When you think about how quickly time passes, it's startling. One moment, it's the start of a new year, and before you know it, the year is over. We live in this illusion that we have all the time in the world, but the reality is we don't. Time waits for no one. It's ticking away second by second, regardless of how we choose to spend it. Imagine that every day you're given a certain amount of time, a currency of minutes and hours, and at the end of the day, whatever you haven't used effectively is gone. There's no bank where you can deposit your unused time. No savings account for those extra hours you think you'll use later. Time is finite, and every day we're drawing closer to the end of our supply. This awareness is what drives people who accomplish great things. They understand that their time is limited, and they treat each day as a gift, a chance to do something meaningful, to make an impact, or to grow in some way. Many of us go through life thinking that we'll have time later to pursue our dreams, to learn new skills, or to make things right with those we care about. But here's the harsh truth: later is not guaranteed. You don't know what tomorrow holds, or even if there will be a tomorrow. We make plans for the future, assuming it's waiting for us, but the only time we truly have is the present moment. Right now, when you realize this, you begin to understand the urgency of not wasting time, of making the most of each day, each hour, each minute. When you waste time, it's not just the hours you're also losing opportunities for growth, for connection, for making a difference in your own life and the lives of others. Those hours spent on trivial tasks, on things that don't matter, are hours you could have invested in something that does. It's easy to fall into patterns of wasting time, to get caught up in distractions or in things that keep us busy but don't bring us any closer to our goals. But each of us has the power to break out of that cycle, to become aware of how we're spending our time, and to make conscious choices about where we direct our attention and energy. Recognizing that time is irreplaceable means treating it with respect, being intentional about how we spend it. It means setting priorities, focusing on things that align with our values, our dreams, and our purpose. It means not letting the minutes slip by unnoticed, but taking control of our time and making each moment count. By valuing time as the precious, irreplaceable asset it is, we can live with purpose, create meaningful memories, and reach our fullest potential. Waiting for the perfect time is something we've all been guilty of at one point or another. We tell ourselves that we'll start working on our dreams, taking on new challenges, or pursuing personal growth when conditions are just right. It's a comforting thought, the idea that someday everything will align perfectly and we'll be able to make our move without hesitation. But waiting for the ideal moment is an illusion that holds us back, keeping us in a loop of delay, inaction, and missed opportunities. The reality is, there will never be a perfect time. Life will always have its uncertainties, challenges, and distractions, and if we let them keep us on hold, we may never start at all. The pursuit of perfection in timing is rooted in fear. People wait for the perfect conditions because they're afraid to step out of their comfort zones. They want to feel completely prepared, certain, and confident before they make a move. But here's the thing: real growth, real success, and real change don't come from waiting until you feel ready. They come from taking action despite the discomfort, despite the doubts, and despite the imperfections of the present moment. If you're waiting for everything to fall into place, you'll likely be waiting forever. Life doesn't provide guarantees, and rarely does anything significant happen without some level of risk or uncertainty. Sometimes people wait for the perfect time because they believe it will make the journey easier or the outcome better. But in reality, time spent waiting is time wasted. Each moment spent holding back is a missed opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make progress, however small. When you finally take action, you'll often find that the obstacles you were worried about aren't as big as they seemed. But you'll only realize this by taking that first step, not by holding back. The act of starting itself creates momentum, and it's that momentum that often brings clarity, courage, and progress. Waiting for the perfect time also gives people a false sense of control. By delaying, they feel they're in charge, deciding when to make their move. But ironically, in waiting for the perfect time, they're allowing fear and hesitation to control their choices. It's easy to convince yourself that you're making a wise decision by waiting, but the truth is, life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The world keeps moving forward whether you do or not. By waiting, you give up control to the very thing you're trying to manage: time. The idea of perfect timing is also fueled by a fear of failure. People want to avoid mistakes, so they hold off thinking that they can plan their way to success without any risk. But failure is often the best teacher, and making mistakes along the way is a natural part of any journey worth taking. If you avoid starting because you're afraid to make mistakes, you're robbing yourself of the chance to learn and improve. You'll learn more by taking action, even imperfect action, than by staying in the planning stage indefinitely. It's important to remember that every moment spent waiting for the perfect time is a moment lost that could have been spent moving forward. Time is finite, and each day is an opportunity. Those who achieve great things understand that waiting is a luxury they can't afford. They know that starting, even if they feel uncertain, is the only way to make progress. Instead of sitting on the sidelines, they're in the game, making moves, learning as they go, and adapting to whatever comes their way. Comfort is one of the biggest obstacles to growth and progress, yet it's something many people actively seek and prioritize. We are conditioned to value comfort, to think that finding a state of ease and predictability is the ultimate goal. But in reality, comfort is often the enemy of progress. When you stay in your comfort zone, you may feel safe, but you're also limiting yourself. Growth, success, and personal transformation don't happen in comfort. They require risk, effort, and often discomfort. It's only by stepping outside of what feels familiar and easy that we open ourselves to new possibilities, new challenges, and ultimately new achievements. The comfort zone is a state of mental, emotional, and physical ease that requires little effort and offers minimal risk. It's a space where everything is predictable and familiar, where you know what to expect and how to handle it. While this may sound ideal, the problem is that staying in this zone too long can lead to stagnation. When you're comfortable, you're not pushing yourself, not testing your limits, and not challenging yourself to grow. You may feel content, but you're not moving forward. Over time, this stagnation can lead to regret, as you realize you've missed out on opportunities because you were unwilling to step out of your comfort zone. The more comfortable you become with where you are, the harder it becomes to take risks. You start to fear failure more intensely because failure disrupts comfort. You become more hesitant to try new things or to take on challenges that may stretch your abilities. This fear of failure can keep you stuck, holding you back from opportunities that could change your life. Ironically, the longer you stay in the comfort zone, the smaller that zone becomes. You start to avoid anything that could bring discomfort, limiting your experiences, your growth, and even your happiness. One of the most common reasons people stay in their comfort zones is the illusion of control it provides. When you're in familiar surroundings, doing things you're used to, you feel like you're in control of your life. But true control doesn't come from avoiding challenges, it comes from facing them head on and learning to adapt. Real strength and resilience are developed not through avoidance, but through experience and growth. By seeking comfort, you may avoid temporary discomfort, but you're also avoiding the kind of life experiences that can teach you resilience, adaptability, and strength. Progress and comfort don't coexist easily. When you're focused on growing and achieving, you're constantly pushing the boundaries of what you know and what you're capable of. This requires you to enter uncharted territory where the risks are higher, but so are the rewards. Successful people understand this. They know that if they want to grow, they must be willing to face discomfort and uncertainty. They willingly step out of their comfort zones because they know that the best things in life are often found outside of it. Every time you push past the limits of your comfort, you expand your potential, opening yourself up to new skills, new ideas, and new perspectives. Choosing comfort over progress is often rooted in the need for security. Humans are wired to seek safety and predictability, but in modern life, this tendency can prevent us from realizing our potential. Security and comfort are not the same as fulfillment and purpose. People who seek only comfort often find themselves wondering what could have been, realizing too late that they missed their chance to make a meaningful impact. True fulfillment comes from the pursuit of goals that matter to you, even if they require you to step into the unknown, face challenges, or risk failure. Comfort may feel good in the short term, but it doesn't lead to long-term satisfaction or growth. When you choose progress over comfort, you're choosing to live with purpose and intention. You're embracing the fact that life is filled with uncertainties and that growth requires you to be willing to take risks, to experience discomfort, and to learn from failure. By stepping out of your comfort zone, You open yourself to possibilities that you might never have encountered otherwise. Comfort may offer temporary satisfaction, but progress brings lasting fulfillment, the kind that comes from knowing you've pushed your limits, developed new strengths, and accomplished things you once thought were out of reach. Fear of failure is one of the most powerful forces that keeps people from taking action. It's a natural reaction to avoid situations where there's a risk of falling short, making mistakes, or facing rejection. Failure can be painful, and it's often perceived as a reflection of one's abilities or worth. But while the fear of failure is a common and understandable response, it's also one of the biggest barriers to progress and growth. The fear itself becomes a self-imposed limitation, a mental wall that keeps people from stepping outside their comfort zones and trying new things. When you allow this fear to hold you back, you're not just avoiding potential failure, you're also missing out on all the possible successes that could come from taking that leap. Failure is often misunderstood. People see it as a final verdict on their capabilities rather than as a temporary setback or a stepping stone toward improvement. In reality, failure is not the opposite of success, it's an essential part of the journey to success. Almost every successful person has faced failure, sometimes repeatedly, before they reach their goals. Failure isn't a dead end, it's a detour, a lesson in resilience, perseverance, and adaptability. It's an opportunity to learn, to refine your skills, and to figure out what works and what doesn't. When you view failure this way, it becomes less of a threat and more of a valuable teacher, one that helps you grow stronger and wiser with each setback. The fear of failure also stems from the way society often stigmatizes it. From a young age, many people are taught that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. In school, in sports, and even in personal relationships, there's a pressure to succeed and a corresponding shame associated with falling short. This societal pressure makes people hesitant to take risks, to pursue their passions, or to go after their dreams. They internalize the belief that failure makes them less capable or less worthy, and as a result, they end up staying in safe, predictable situations where they know they won't fail. But in avoiding failure, they're also avoiding growth and achievement, trading their potential for a false sense of security. Another reason people fear failure is that it often feels personal. When you put yourself out there, whether by starting a new project, applying for a job, or pursuing a goal, there's a vulnerability involved. You're exposing your dreams, your hopes, and a part of yourself, and if you fail, it can feel like a reflection of who you are. But the truth is, failure doesn't define you, your response to failure does. If you learn from it, grow from it, and keep moving forward, then failure becomes a tool for self-improvement rather than a source of shame. Recognizing that failure is an event, not a character flaw, can help you take it in stride and use it to your advantage. Avoiding failure by staying in your comfort zone may feel safe, but it's also limiting. When you're unwilling to risk failure, you're also giving up the chance to experience growth, to achieve your goals, and to create something meaningful. Real fulfillment and success require you to take chances, to put yourself out there, and to try even if there's a possibility of failure. Every time you take a risk, you're developing resilience and courage, both of which are essential for long-term success. It's through repeated attempts, some of which may fail, that you learn the skills and gain the experience necessary to eventually succeed. The irony of fearing failure is that by trying to avoid it, you're actually holding yourself back from the very things you desire. Success often requires multiple attempts, countless hours of effort, and the willingness to pick yourself up after each setback. The people who achieve their dreams are usually those who aren't afraid to fail, who understand that each failure brings them one step closer to their goals. They know that failure is not a reason to quit, but rather an opportunity to regroup, adjust, and try again with a little more wisdom than before. By allowing themselves to fail, they also allow themselves to grow, to innovate, and to reach heights they might never have thought possible. Facing the fear of failure is essential for anyone who wants to achieve something meaningful. It requires courage to put yourself out there, to risk criticism, to make mistakes, and to start over. But this courage is also what separates those who achieve from those who only dream. Every second wasted is a lost chance to grow, to build, and to achieve something meaningful. Time, as the most finite resource we have, ticks away relentlessly, and once a moment is gone, it's gone for good. Each second, each minute, each hour holds the potential for growth, transformation, and opportunity. Yet, despite the preciousness of time, many of us let it slip through our fingers, filling our days with distractions, procrastination, and excuses that ultimately rob us of the lives we could be living. The reality is that every wasted second represents a lost chance and opportunity missed to create something, to take a step closer to our goals, to learn something new, or to make a difference in the lives of those around us. When we waste time, we're not just delaying our progress, we're actively limiting our potential. Consider how quickly an hour can pass while scrolling through social media, watching mindless TV, or engaging in idle conversation without real connection or purpose. These moments may seem harmless in isolation, but over days, weeks, and years, they add up to a significant portion of our lives. They accumulate into a mountain of lost opportunities, time we could have spent investing in ourselves, building our dreams, or even resting in a way that truly revitalizes us. Every moment we choose to spend passively or wastefully is a moment we can never get back, a piece of our lives that could have brought us closer to our aspirations. Wasting time also means postponing our growth. Growth isn't something that just happens on its own. It's an intentional process that requires consistent effort and dedication. Just as a plant won't grow without water and sunlight, we won't develop our skills, expand our knowledge, or become better versions of ourselves if we don't dedicate time to these pursuits. Personal and professional growth often demand that we invest our time into learning, practicing, failing, and trying again. But if we're spending our hours on things that don't contribute to that growth, we're essentially putting our lives on hold. We may be physically present, but mentally and spiritually, we're stagnant, watching as life moves forward without us. Not only does wasted time stunt personal growth, but it also impacts our ability to build meaningful relationships. Building strong connections with others takes time, patience, and consistent effort. Relationships require presence and engagement qualities that can't be achieved when we're distracted or too busy wasting time on things that don't matter. Whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, or a family bond, each of these connections requires us to be present and invested. When we're not, we're missing out on the depth and richness that meaningful relationships can bring to our lives. Instead of strengthening our bonds, we weaken them, missing moments to connect, to understand, and to be there for one another. Moreover, wasted time deprives us of the chance to contribute something of value to the world around us. We all have unique talents, perspectives, and skills that, when used wisely, can have a positive impact on others. Whether it's through our work, our creativity, or simply by helping those in need, each of us has the potential to leave a mark, however small, on the lives of others. But when we're preoccupied with things that don't matter, we miss these opportunities to make a difference. We lose the chance to do something that could inspire, uplift, or support someone else. In this way, wasting time isn't just a personal loss, it's a missed opportunity to contribute something meaningful to the world. One of the reasons people waste time is because they underestimate the power of small moments. They think that if they don't have hours to dedicate to a task or project, it's not worth starting. But growth, achievement, and impact don't always require huge time investments. Often it's the small, consistent actions taken over time that lead to the most significant results. A few minutes each day spent reading, practicing a skill, or reaching out to a friend can, over time, lead to profound changes. Each moment we let go by, because we think it's insignificant, is, in reality, a lost opportunity to make incremental progress towards something greater. Another trap that leads to wasted time is the belief that we have plenty of time left to do what matters. It's easy to think that we'll start working toward our dreams or focusing on our relationships someday. But someday is not a promise, it's a vague, often unattainable point in the future that rarely comes. The truth is, none of us know how much time we really have. Life is unpredictable, and every day we delay taking action is a day we risk never getting back. Instead of putting off our dreams or our relationships until some future date, we need to take action now, making the most of the time we have while we still have it. Furthermore, procrastination plays a huge role in wasted time. People often put off tasks because they seem difficult, tedious, or overwhelming. But the longer we delay, the more daunting these tasks become. Procrastination doesn't eliminate the task, it just increases our stress and makes it harder to take action. In many cases, the time and energy we spend avoiding a task could have been used to complete it. Breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps can help us overcome procrastination, allowing us to use our time effectively rather than letting it slip away. One of the most profound realizations a person can have is the understanding that time is a non-renewable resource. Unlike money, material possessions, or even energy, time is something we can't replenish. When we waste it, we are squandering the most precious asset we have, one that no amount of effort or wealth can bring back. This understanding can be a powerful motivator, pushing us to take action, to live with intention, and to treat every moment as an opportunity. Living with this awareness helps us prioritize what truly matters. whether that's pursuing a passion, building relationships, or simply enjoying life's small moments. It's also important to recognize that using time effectively doesn't mean constantly working or being productive in the traditional sense. Rest, relaxation, and recreation are also valuable uses of time when they contribute to our well-being and help us recharge. The key is to be intentional with our time, making conscious choices that align with our values and goals, rather than letting it slip away on things that don't matter. A balanced approach to time allows us to achieve our goals while also taking care of our mental and physical health. Ultimately, every second wasted is a chance that we'll never have again. Each moment that goes by is an opportunity to take a step forward, to learn, to connect, to grow. The question we should all be asking ourselves is not whether we have time, but how we are choosing to use the time we have. Are we living with purpose, dedicating our hours and days to things that bring us closer to our goals and aspirations, or are we letting distractions, doubts, and delays rob us of the lives we're capable of living? In the end, our lives are defined by how we spend our time. It's the sum of our moments, choices, and actions. To live fully, to reach our potential, and to leave a meaningful legacy, we need to recognize the value of every second, making the most of it to grow, to build, and to achieve something that matters. Our time is finite, but the impact we can make with it is limitless if we choose to live with intention and purpose.